it's not easy. I mean, Davis is out, Zeller's out. I mean, there's foul trouble inside of the game. It's hard. We were hard to get momentum against. They were hard to get momentum against. That's why it was basically a stalemate at halftime. But they got a little jump in that second half, and it was a little too, I don't want to say easy to score, but they got some good looks that we shouldn't have given them. And then we were playing uphill, but we were always right there. We were right there. But then we were basically just running out of time a little bit. Then it became you have to foul them type of situation. But I'm going to have to watch the film on this one. I mean, we did a lot of good things, but there's no question when the free throw discrepancy is 20, you're not going to win that game.
In this locker room, there was a lot of emotion, and especially the seniors. What your kids did this year, and how a lot of folks said they wouldn't even make the NCAA tournament. How proud of you are these guys what they did?
Oh, I'm proud. I'm proud of them as men, though. They've grown up to be men, and they really have. And I can't hope enough or pray enough that they all become the spiritual leaders in their lives and families' lives as they get older, because of the way they showed leadership for us and the leadership that our seniors grew into and developed into. And I mean, goodness gracious, Christian Watford, I mean, the man he's becoming. You know, we're really fortunate, and I think this is why I love our recruiting, is we're getting some really, really well-raised young men. I mean, they're representing Indiana right, and our recruiting is the same way. We're getting some people that are going to respect playing with that Indiana on the front. That's not always the way it is. I mean, they've really grown. They've realized that when Indiana comes out on top, they come out on top too. Tonight we're a little short in this one, but I'm proud of how they've all grown and evolved. There's no question.
Several guys talking about wanting to go back to work. These guys are ready to go again. It says a lot about where they've come and where they're going.
They're going to need a little rest. We're a product of our work. 52, 53 weeks ago, whatever it was, and we started right after spring break. That's why you're in a situation like this. Basically, about 370 days it elapsed. We kept talking about it's 105 days since we played Kentucky last, and we feel like we got better too. And there's no question they did. There's no question we did. And the work ethic, the player development, that's always been the cornerstone of how we've coached. It'll continue to be that way. And that's how we'll recruit. That's how our players will demand it. You know, the one thing that our seniors have done is evolved into that leadership. The young players that come in and our older players now, they'll never, ever have to learn it on their own. They'll always have somebody that can teach them. And that's the biggest difference of where our program is versus where it was the first couple of years. And I'm sure they will go back to work, but I'm not going to let them work for a while. We've got to rest. These guys they literally, and a lot of times coaches say it, and they got one hand tied behind their back. They say, well, they gave everything they had. These guys gave everything they had. Show you my hands. They gave everything they had.
A lot of the guys talked about doing what others thought they couldn't do. This year, next year, there are going to be a lot of expectations.
We're not worried about expectations. I mean, and if you're going to cover me and ask those questions down the road, I could care less about others' expectations. If we cared about expectations, we wouldn't be in this situation. So let me promise you, when they pick you ninth in the league and everything we've been through in 4 years, I could care less what expectations are. And we have our own. And I don't mean that negative, but it's just the way that it is. I mean, that's the last thing on my mind is what anybody thinks we ought to do down the road, because nobody's thought we were going to do very much. Now, we're just going to stick with our own expectations and keep them right in-house where they've been.
The work ethic that's been developed and the accomplishments.
Well, I didn't mean that negative. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
And the accomplishments of the season, what does it mean for the program moving forward?
I was talking to Trey again. What?
The work ethic that's developed between your team and the accomplishments of the season, both, what does it mean for the program moving forward?
Well, they worked when they were young. They just didn't know what they were working for. They didn't have enough firepower with them. They didn't have enough guys with them that could make the difference. Now they do. And we just got to continue to get better. And when the young guys come in, our older guys have got to show them what it is, what it's all about. But we've never not had a work ethic. We just didn't maybe have everything that we needed to have to be in position, and that takes time to grow into. But there's a work ethic, there's a desire, there's a development in the program, and it can never, ever be underestimated how powerful it has been for our fans, the way they've been with this team. And the way they supported them when they couldn't see it either, and I still say to this day, and I saw so many of them standing over there tonight. The bridge between our guys and the fans was the fact that so many former players were locked and entrenched in this. And when we had nothing, we had them, and we had tradition, and we had Assembly Hall, and we had our fans, but we didn't have anything. And boy, that bridge is long. You know, when you've got all the former players that we have that are locked in that way. And now we'll have some guys that they'll be able to lead inside of the program as we continue to move forward, and the former players will be able to continue to bring that, and everybody will kind of work together.
Tom, you didn't mind the pace tonight, right?
No, we like to play. We came to attack. I think both teams were I think both teams left everything they had, and we wanted to get into their bench, and we were successful in the first half. We weren't successful in the second half, but they didn't really get. You know, we played into ours, but everybody had some foul things to deal with. We lost two valuable guys when you lose Victor, and we were trying to get Victor out when he got the fourth, and it was just hard. But I mean, it's the way that it goes. I mean, we came to battle, they came to battle, and they just came out on top at the end.
Kentucky was 35 and 37 from the line. You've been around basketball for a long time. Can you recall a team, you know, pretty much been money at the line like that in a tournament game?
No, and you know, I think this is such a great shooting place. There's those statistics that are out of, you know, how things drop in the dome, and I don't think any of us got caught up in that. I mean, they shot the ball, we shot the ball well. We just didn't shoot very many free throws. But no, they're really good. You look at where they're at national scale-wise with the statistics like that. They're right there. I mean, they're up near the very top of the country in free throw percentage and in free throw attempts. And no, I'm not surprised. They've got great players, and there's no question about it. And they've got a great team. And it starts with John. I mean, how good a coach he is, and that coaching staff that he's got. I mean, you don't to have that much talent and to get them to play that hard, that long, all year long. That says a lot.
What did you see in Kentucky now, Tom, as opposed to 5 years ago?
I'd have to think that. I'd have to think about that. They're better. We're better. Just continue to grow and get better. I think the bottom line is still when you've got a guy like Darius Miller, who's going to be a first-round draft pick coming off your bench. Not many can say that. So I think, and the reason that's so important is because those other guys have continued to play at a really high level.
Could you appreciate the atmosphere in here tonight and just how electric it was?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I would think the hype surrounding it, there's no question. That was even underrated and undervalued for how loud it was. And I'd like to take it a couple minutes to take a look around. Didn't quite have that kind of time, but walking out there, that was a big deal. That was a big deal. And again, I think both teams went through the initial, shock of the game a little bit. And our guys really recovered after just about that second time out. They were pretty good. But I'm proud of our guys for being in this situation. Never been in a situation like this before to a man. None of them have been in this. And to come out of it the way they have, and again, not losing the game. We're way past the moral victory stage with this group. But they came out there and they battled against a great team. And we were right there.
This is what you want Indiana basketball to be about. These kind of moments, these kind of games.
Oh, yeah. We want to keep that relevance moving in a great direction. No question.
Tom, how do you talk about you want these guys to be spiritual leaders? What does that mean to you? What do you want that to look like?
That everything's God-centered. That it's absolutely God-centered, no matter what. That when, and I think they will be. When you look at the pitfalls and the doubts that people can have inside of what they've had to deal with in this program, it's easy to lose your focus. It's easy to it's hard to put God at the top. And I think they've learned that there's no way around it. And I hope these are people that continue to lead others to God. I mean, I really do, because they've got a great story to tell. The people that are leaving here, you look at all the great people, and not just the talented athletes, but the great people that have left Indiana. There's no doubt that these seniors leaving they've got a story, and I just want them to continue to live it. And I want when people to see them, to see that's my biggest hope and prayer, is that people see that in them as they move forward in life.